it's just boring, you know? Nothing ever happened.
No. No. No, no, no! I gotta go! I gotta go! Hey! Everything okay? Oh, no! Oh, no, 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 no!
Welcome to Strike Force. You are an elite battle squad assembled to defend Earth. This is who we're up against. The alien warlord Ultimus and his Kree soldiers who have joined forces with Hydra and AIM. Now, I know some of you aren't used to fighting side by side with each other, but the world needs you to put aside your feuds and stand together. Any questions?
I am Groot.
Any other questions? All right, it's go time. Now get out there and save the world.
You need help with your Marvel Strike Force game? Then come down to the school of the Game Father. Valley Flying did, and he learned that you can't beat the Game Father. Valley Flying. That's right, I'm the 3-time Super Sunday Redstone Blitz Orb champion. After I uppercutted Valley Flying in his vagina for the 3rd time, he went home and cried to his little mommy, and now I need a new challenger. Bring it, little boy. All with the fucking dope. I be ballin' like a Hulk Hogan. Oh man.
Gamers, keep on gaming because gamers are cool.
Alright gamers, keep on gaming because gamers are cool.
OMG.
It's so powerful it can turn off the sun!
I don't know if this is good or not. Oh shit, I don't even know. Let's just do it. Oh boy, I'm just dumb. I was telling Kat I'm dumb. Let's do it.
Yo, I'm tapping on my screen like a savage. G20 walls, yeah, the climb is tragic. Building up teams, keep the power tight. Every day in MSF. Trying to win the fight, win the fight, win the fight, win the fight. I wake up, check dailies, claim what I can. Grinding for a rework that still needs a plan. RNG pain got me counting my fate. 10 orbs deep, still no sign of the great.
Wow, what a day.
Gold just sitting, but the mats don't drop. Campaign nods dry, gotta refresh the shop. Alliance feels dead, no replies all day. And my Crucible squad just got blown away. It's war prep time, but the UI's clunky. Team select broken and the matchup's funky. Tower mode hits with that silent nerf. Tells you it's strategic, but it's pure turf war. New teams drop with a price tag bold. And last week's meta already cold. 3 reworks deep and they still miss wide. You can't even win unless you wail with pride. Tapping on my screen like a savage. G20 walls, yeah, the climb is tragic. Building up teams, keep the power tight. Every day in MSF, just trying to win the fight. Win the fight, win the fight. Milestones bloating like a rigged up game. Events stack weird and the math's insane. I'm free to play, at least on weekdays. But I spent more cool on weekdays. But I spent.
I love that part. That's the best part. But I've spent. I'm free to play on weekdays. Check that.
Up game. Events stack weird and the math's insane. I'm free to play, at least on weekdays. But I spent more cool on weekdays. But I spent.
Free to play on weekdays? I know some of you relate. Yeah, I get it.
I'm free to play. Did I cut the ending off? Oh, I need to fix that. I don't like the ending.
Every day in MSF, just trying to win the fight. Win the fight, win the fight. Milestones bloating like a rigged up game. Events stack weird and the math's insane. I'm free to play, at least on weekdays.
Why did it cut off like that? That's really weird. Huh. See if that fixes it. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know if I want to do with this. I got some more. You know, it's just kind of stupid.
Yo, I'm tapping on my screen like a savage. G20 walls, yeah, the climb is tragic. Building up teams, keep the power tight. Every day in MSF, just trying to win the fight, or win the fight, or win the fight, or win the fight. I wake up, check dailies, claim what I can.
Well, at the end of the day, there's nothing sexy about Marvel Strike Force. Let me tell you that. I'm bringing sexy to Marvel Strike Force. Yeah, she's, I don't know her name. I mean, I could look it up, but she's on Instagram. Apparently, my feed is fucked. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about that too. It's hot in here. Holy shit. Justin Timberlake of Marvel Strike Force? No. How do I know how many times I've ran it? Because I actually think I've ran it twice, but I'm not sure. I don't know if I've ran it twice. I am not. I just want to get my war done. I have so much stuff to do today. I'm just trying to get the stuff that I have to do done now, which is war. Oh my god, is it a dead war? Did I log in early for no reason whatsoever? Oh, fuck. Rip Hulk Hogan. Well, I don't know what to fucking do. Alright, well, I'm gonna get this shit done. Yeah, my understanding is that, you know, when it comes to the last section for, oh, fuck off. Is there? Well, I'll use Quasar right now. Well, it doesn't hurt me to use Quasar, so. Yeah, literally all you need in that last node. Well, you're required to take Lalandra, but all you need is Odin. So Odin, Lalandra, and you might as well do the Fantastic Four. Here's the catch, though. Like, if you, I don't know where you are in the saga, you got to plan for a fuck ton of bio if you're going to do it that way. Can't be running like zombie juggernaut and shit like that because you're going to run out of bio. I think that Franklin is the one to core. I don't know if anybody saw. I think we need to go back and look at this. I want to show you how important Franklin is compared to the rest of them. Now, I know that not everybody has Professor X, but that's not the point I'm trying to make right here. The point I'm trying to make right here is that Franklin makes the team. Hold on. Yeah, you got, okay, so I'm fucking around, playing around, and then look what I do. Let's see here. Fucking around. And I'm playing up against, okay, I am playing up against three-piece Fantastic Four, Professor X, and Shadow King. And I take a random ass team, but it has Franklin. Professor X and Franklin. So I don't know if this is going to work, but this is a Professor X versus Professor X match. And the point is this, is that Franklin's the one that matters. I don't even know if the other two do anything really. I feel like the Fantastic Four team is all about Franklin. It's just about Franklin. I mean, he you know, a lot of this stuff you can work around. Like right here. Let's stun him, right? Yeah, he's stunned, so he's not going to do that horrible battlefield effect. But we are, and we're not even running the full three-piece. We're just using one part of him, right? Absolutely, you know, that's fine. And then look, right here, we're probably going to get a deletion right here, right? There we go. Well, it's not going to do a Billy Buck because that's just war. But look at that. Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, he's gone. To what extent you need the rest of the team, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure. Now, this is not going to work without Professor X because Franklin, not Franklin, but Mr. Fantastic will taunt. And Professor X is stopping that. So, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I feel like frankly, I don't give a damn. Franklin, I don't give a damn. Very, very strong. But, so, I guess the thing is, Franklin is the shit. He is the team. He is the Black Knight of the team. He is the Kahori of the team. However you want, whatever. I don't know what kind of metaphor to use. What the hell is going on? Did I just mess that up and make it worse? What did I do to my camera? Oh, my cat's fucked with this. Oh boy, that's hard to fix. Franklin very will be the most important character out of all the Harbinger characters. Let me think about that for a second. What character is more important than Franklin in the Harbinger characters? Yeah, I mean, I think Quasar is more important than probably Mr. Fantastic. But yeah, yeah, sure. Oh yeah, he's good. Yeah, Quasar is free. Yeah, exactly. Anyways, I think you get the point. Now, I mean, the video here makes a case that he's easily the best. I'm not sure to what degree you'll be able to thrive in Arena with just Franklin, but I gave an example of putting together a team that, you know, did not include Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic, and it got through it. And also, I think Franklin makes the team viable in Crucible and Alliance War. Like, playable anyways. In the same way that Vigilante's playable. Probably a little bit more playable than Vigilante's. Yeah, I don't even know why I started my stream. All right, we're gonna make an ISO video, just a super basic beginner ISO video. A couple of people on stream last week said, hey, I don't understand ISOs, so I figure you can make a video about it. Oh my God. That's what that song that I'm trying to figure out if I want to publish it or not, because I think it's a little too dumb. But it literally says that at the end of the video, at the end of the song. Let's see I don't know how I worded it. There.
Milestones bloating like a rigged up game. Events stack weird and the math's insane. I'm free to play, at least on weekdays. But I spent more cool mom weekdays. But I spent.
I'm free to play on weekdays. But I've spent. All right. Yeah. It was a TikTok song, though. I'm literally ripping TikTok songs at this point.
Yo, I'm tapping on my screen like a savage. G20 walls, yeah, the climb is tragic. Building.
Fuck, what? I have no idea anymore. Someone in my personal life called me an artist, and I was like, yeah, nobody's ever called me that before. I was like, okay. Was it so bad? It's partially AI. So I've been experimenting with some different tools. So the beginning of it is not AI. This is an actual girl, and this is an actual beat from somebody, right? And then it becomes AI at some point.
Yo, I'm tapping on my screen like a savage. G20 walls, yeah, the climb is tragic. Building up team.
But this is the part I like right here.
Milestones bloating like a rigged up game. Events stack weird and the math's insane. I'm free to play, at least on weekdays. But I spent more cool mom weekdays. But I spent.
So anyways, I don't know why I waste time doing it, making that stuff. And I actually enjoy it. Like I like, I don't know, I like fucking around with it. I just do. It's obnoxious, yes. Oh yeah. Rip Holdorm, yeah. This is dumber than you made it seem. Well, you know who called me that, right? I was like, no one's ever called me that before. Hulk Hogan passed. Yeah, Hulk Hogan was a big part of my childhood. In fact, for a while, I covered WWE game. Oh, your friend's in the driveway, Cat. And I remember when they ripped him from the game. They actually deleted Hulk Hogan from the game. They're like, yeah. If you want to get back into Marvel Strike Force, in a lot of ways, the new player experience is over the top good. It really is. Look out. I feel like Endgame is where the problems are. But I've started 3 new accounts in the last 3 years, and they've all been very good experiences. It rewards strategic, smart gameplay. They flood you with a fuck ton of characters. I mean, I feel like in the first couple of days, they're going to give you 50 or more characters. They just flood you with characters. And so it's a matter of, making smart decisions, which it was very appealing to me. All right, so we're gonna leave some there. I should leave them, right? Yeah. Well, it was worse than that, right? It wasn't the R word. He used the N word, and it was not in a good context. I believe it was directed at his son-in-law or his daughter's boyfriend. It was not a good It was not a good. It was not good at all. If I remember correctly, like it was all bad. Yeah, it was not. It was not. It wasn't like somebody. Yeah, it was not like whoops. I just slipped out. That was like, oh boy, you really got to understand what he really believed. It was not good. Yeah, but anyways, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. He was a part of my childhood, for sure. And as far as that other topic, you know, I think about my grandfather. Oh, never mind. We don't need to get into that. I'm glad that we're moving past that, like as a whole. I mean, not entirely, but I feel like there's been, on some level. Well, I don't know. I guess I'm not at the right position to speak to that. I have no idea, actually. I have no idea. Anyways, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. I had a whole clusterfuck of chaotic brain fart thoughts in my mind, and then I was like, fuck, I don't know how to make a sentence on something I don't even know anything about. Goofy white dude on the internet has thoughts and opinions about shit that he should have no say on, perhaps. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Celebrities do die in 3. Shit. We had Ozzy Osbourne, Hulk Hogan. So why don't we, what kind of, I mean, not that I want a celebrity to die, but what kind of celebrity do you think it'll be? We had a singer, musician, and then we had a wrestler. I mean, I'm going to put Hulk Hogan, you know, he's an entertainer, right? He was definitely an icon. It's hard to call him an athlete, but he was definitely athletic, and what he did required a high degree of athleticism. He most certainly was a character and an actor of sorts. The first was Theo from The Cosby Show. That's right. It is in 3. Fuck, I forgot about that. That was just a couple days ago. Shit. So we had 3, babe. Just like you said. Michael Jackson and Farrah both died on my birthday. The Michael Jackson passing was interesting. I used to work for a firm that was in downtown LA, and I was at the firm for some reason or another, and it was adjacent. The hotel I was staying at was adjacent to the Staples Center where the Michael Jackson funeral was. No offense to Michael Jackson fans, but the Michael Jackson fans in that hotel when I was there were fucking weirdos. And most of them were not from the United States. It was like people flew in from all over the world to go to that Staples Center thing for Michael Jackson. And very few of them were Americans, frankly. I suspect he was more popular overseas there at the end. Thank you. Thank you, Nah. That's great. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why that would be. I haven't made up my mind yet. I don't think. I think what I'm gonna do is not core Franklin, and at a minimum, we can wait till tomorrow, right? See what the blog post actually says. I don't see waiting one day as being that uncomfortable. Also, this whole thing about the event and the data mines does not matter to spenders. Let me tell you that. Because they can unlock Franklin today and then core Franklin when the event starts, right? They can just spend the $50 or whatever it is, or whatever level they want to get him to. I think for people that are going to core him, I think the smart thing to do at a minimum is to wait until blog post, which typically comes out a little later than this time tomorrow. So like it's almost 10 o'clock here my time. The blog post videos and the blog post embargo usually is at 11 o'clock my time, which is an hour and 15 minutes from now tomorrow. So I think most people can wait until then, at least. For him today and file a compensation ticket for tomorrow. It's not my style. I'll go back in just a second. I can't imagine there's going to be an exploit. How would that even work? It's literally just an event for Quasar diamonds and Gear Tier 20s that's based off of power core spending. Leaderboards are problematic when auctions are problematic in life. If auctions are not fair, they're problematic. If there's no integrity, it's not good. And all things involving some sort of auction mechanic with real world money, integrity is of the highest importance. It requires scrutiny. My best guess is that your experience with Marvel Strike Force will be better if you took 2 months off, strangely enough. Yeah, what does it matter which ones I do? It's a meaningless currency at this point. Yeah, there's no world where whether it's blue or green, it's gonna matter. Oh, so our Giant threes? I don't know. I feel like that's a I feel like that particular rule or that idea of that thought, if you will, of celebrities dying three is so easy to manipulate. I mean, how many days? A week? A month? What's a celebrity? What if 10 celebrities die on the same day and people are just going to say, well, those 7 weren't real celebrities, just these 3 were. I feel like it's like super easy to make that idea work. I gotta fix that. Do not have restream on? No, I agree. It's just I can't be bothered to. Yeah, it is. It's streaming to that channel. God, this thing is pissing me off today. Babe, if we would have bought the house with the basement, I could have just gutted it and made everything green like Arnold. Well, we didn't move into a house with a basement. I'm screaming at the stream. Oh, I'm having difficulty lining up my green screen, and I'm thinking about how much nicer life would be if I was in a fully chromed green room like Arnold has. And then I said, babe, we should have bought the house with the basement. That's what I was saying. The house was haunted. Yeah. This is the beauty of that statement, is there's no argument that I could present to counter that. It's just not possible. And the real estate agent, who is a fantastic lady, said something similar. She goes, yeah, I sense that there was a divorce here. Something bad happened. And I went, fuck, I can't win. was like, shut up, Rochelle. Shut up. Yeah, I think our electricity bill would be through the roof. Yeah, the house had. Yeah, well, that would have been a mess, I think. Would the basement be hotter or cooler? The basement had a dedicated air conditioning unit. It was three. The house had 3 floors, and there was a air conditioning unit for each floor. It's the other way around. They're probably only usable in the summer. They're completely unusable in the winter. Unless you heat them. I don't even know what that would cost to heat the pool. Several $100s a month. Probably costs like $500 or $600 a month extra just to heat the pool. Yeah, it doesn't work like that though. The pool water doesn't really get to 105. The water is it just doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. They most certainly get used more in the summer than the winter. I mean, the water doesn't get quite that hot. All right, cool. I don't know. I lived in Palm Springs my whole life, which is considerably hotter than here, and yeah, I just don't have a memory of that. Ever thinking that the water was hot. I don't ever remember the water being like hotter than like 90 degrees. A hot tub is usually pegged at 101, and it gets uncomfortable anything higher than 100. Like anywhere from every place I've lived at, like if you wanted to use the hot tub in the middle of the summer, you had to go turn it on. It wasn't like it was ready to go. But maybe it just feels that way to other people. I have no idea. I just never had that experience. Well, the purple diamonds just for 3 upgrades, pretty much. Well, I mean, this store is getting some new additions, and this changes with, if I hit refresh, it would change, like Rogue and things like that. So this particular part of the Elite store is where they're going to be putting what, Mephisto and Captain Britain here shortly. So it rotates with every 8 hours. Yeah, I think a pool would cost, I don't know how much a pool would cost here, but if we bought a pool, yeah, I mean, I think IVF, I don't think, we spent some money on IVF, but I always got the idea that like redoing my backyard and putting a pool would cost more than IVF. Like twice as much maybe. I don't think it's inexpensive. Yeah, it's that's what I think they're about. It's about $100,000, which is, if I had extra money, but frankly, I think if that was an option, I would almost consider looking at another home, like moving somewhere else that has the features that we would want, rather than trying to do it. I did a remodel once, and it was so miserable. It was just not a good experience. I don't know if anybody's ever lived in a remodel for, I think my remodel was like 9 months. It was an awful 9 months. And I remember saying, I'm never doing this again. I'm going to remodel. I'd rather just go buy the house I want. It would have been, it probably would have been cheaper. Probably would have been cheaper just to go buy the house that has the features you want. And sell your house, and less work to do that than to remodel for 9 months. Backyard's a little different though. You don't have to live in your backyard, so that would be a different consideration. If I had $1 million, I don't think it does. I remember having this conversation with somebody about it. Like, there's certain things that add value to your house in a ratio compared to how much money you spend. So, like, for example, buying furniture for your house pretty much adds no value. You know, repainting your house before you sell it, you know, absolutely, you probably get your money's worth. Yard work was like, landscaping and yard work had like the highest ratio, and a pool was not in that category. And I don't remember the numbers, but it was like, you know, maybe 50%. Like if you spend $100,000 on a pool, maybe your house will sell for $50,000 more, something like that. It's not dollar for dollar, I'll tell you that. Depends where you live. I don't know. Yeah, I only know the areas I live. I mean, I think it depends on the neighborhood. Strangely enough, like I think it's probably my house. It's unusual that we don't have a pool. I'm gonna say my neighborhood. As far as I know, I don't even know if there's. Yeah, I was gonna look. I was gonna dox myself and looked at Google Maps and count the pools. Number one highlight of being a content creator so far? I guess I don't understand the question. Getting my plaque on the wall was a big highlight. Is that what you're talking about? Like my best moment last 10 years when it comes to content creation? Or are you talking about today? I mean, my life today, you know, the things that are important to me today mostly are centered around my marriage to Kat and the baby. Expecting a boy. Our house is on the low end in our neighborhood. So probably adding a pool. I'm pretty confident in this, babe, that adding a pool would probably be a pretty good dollar for dollar. I mean, not dollar for dollar, but a high ratio. Like every amount that we spend on a pool probably would get a good chunk of that back if and when we sold the pool, sold the house. Over the MSF journey, highlight of my MSF journey. And playing the game or making videos and stuff. I just think, I mean, I've met a lot of, I know this is gonna sound corny, but like, you know, people like Valley Flying and many others. I think that's probably been the coolest part of Marvel Strike Force. Yeah. Yeah, I've gotten the opportunity to hang out with Valley Fine probably a dozen times. He stayed at my house a couple times. I've been to his house. We've been to numerous events together, stuff like that. And it's not just Valley Flying, but it's a lot of people like that. I think something as far as like content creation, I think being on the front page of Twitch, that was pretty cool. That was cool. Being on the front page of Twitch was fun. That was a pretty bonkers feeling, if I remember correctly. When I hang out with these people, yeah, I know. I call Paul. I know almost. I pretty much primarily refer to people, and I do it accidentally. Unless someone doesn't want their first name being out there. Yeah, I mean, but the problem is sometimes when I'm referring to, like, I do it all the time with Arnold. His first name is Chris, right? And Arnold is a logical first name, and so is Chris. But I call him Chris. And without knowing Chris who, because there's like 9,000 Chris's, that kind of becomes confusing. Yeah, I think we all share our names. I can't think of anybody. I haven't met anybody that doesn't, like, they've been private about their first name. Other than Philosopher was private about his first name, at least when he was streaming, but that was for different reasons. Yeah, I typically call people by their screen names. It's just like I feel like I have like a weird screen name. People call me Mobile. It's just kind of weird. I got used to it a long time ago, but that's kind of a weird first name, if you will. Wow. Well, I wonder if that will kill him. Think that'll kill Odin? I think it's worth it trying it. Nope, it wasn't. Well, as far as I know, in the history of doing this, the only person I knew that didn't want his name out there, and that was for very different reasons. Yeah, but most of us don't care. You're staying in the Marvel Strike Force? No, I'm sticking around. I am hoping that not spending will increase my my energy levels in playing. Like lately, I just haven't had a lot of intensity towards the game, and mostly because it felt like the stuff that I was doing wasn't moving my account forward. Now, in the last week, I've had a lot of good things happen in my account. So, but strangely enough, some of them like this, I got a lot of upgrades on this right here. And I didn't have to do anything to earn this, right? So I don't necessarily consider that to be satisfying when it's basically just log in and, this didn't require any work or planning or anything. It's just they give it to you. It's not really that much different than a calendar bonus. Last star? Yeah, he looks cool. Holy moly. You see this? I didn't even take a turn. I understand, but I'm running Shadow King. Shadow King ping is kind of what I'm looking for. And also, it's also a thing where I can just run Mephisto. I don't have to even... If they're not running Null, I can just run Mephisto. I'm going to wait until tomorrow. I'll make a video about it. Make a video about it here shortly. We're going to go to Reddit, and then I will make a video. I think, I'm pretty sure that Professor X will be dead before anybody takes a turn, just from Mephisto. Yeah, this next tap he's dead. He's gonna be dead right now. Why did he die? Well, he had a death proof, huh? Well, maybe we're screwed. There we go. If there is a core event, I don't think there's any downside until waiting till tomorrow is my stance. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know yet. Probably the way I see it is, if the blog post is a nothing burger or doesn't give good details or a good reason why to wait, I can just core Franklin tomorrow. If the event looks more interesting or the same as the data mines, then I probably can wait till Monday. It's just, I don't particularly like making decisions solely on a data mine, but once there's official information that confirms the data mine, and that normally happens, yeah. Normally that happens. I don't know. I feel like Crucible would be where I would get the most use out of him. So it would be like going the weekend without Franklin through Crucible. I don't think I'm gonna have a problem in Arena. Well, maybe. I don't think I'm gonna have a problem in Arena. I think I should be able to stay in the top 10, right? I feel like there's like 12, maybe 12 Professor X's on my shard. There's 11. I mean, I guess I could be an 11th. But I'm going to guess that there's going to be a percentage of these players that don't get Franklin on day one, and I just got to fight them, right? I do think waiting till tomorrow, stalling it till tomorrow makes little difference. How bad is it haves and have not Franklin to Black Knight in Arena? It's everything. Yeah. I don't think that Franklin is going to, well, at least in the testing I did, Franklin didn't override Professor X, but let's say there's a handful of situations, right? People with Franklin and Professor X, they're going to hold, right? If you don't have Franklin or Professor X, you're not going to beat that team. That's what I'm saying. If you don't have Professor X and your opponent doesn't have Professor X, whoever has Franklin wins. Yeah, it's just as strong. In Arena, it's going to be that strong of a have and have not, as far as Franklin goes. I do think that the community is smart and there might be alternate strategies that sidestep what I'm saying, but I wasn't able to figure that out. But then again, I'm just one person and I only spent about an hour, maybe two. No, they're not going to do Thunderbolts MCU. No, the lead time to make a team in a kit is long. I don't know, 6 to 8 months, let's say. And they polled the community on what we wanted to be on the Thunderbolt team, and the options we were given were based off of, like, let's say the pre-release movie promotional materials. Nobody at Scopely got to watch the movie in advance or look at the script or anything. You know, that's just not how it works. So the Thunderbolts team that's in game was largely based solely on the community's pick in polls. The community picked the team. We picked the team without having any information on what the movie actually was going to look like, or if the movie was going to be good, or we had no idea. And I don't think they knew. I mean, you know how many dud movies Marvel has had in the last 7 years? I don't think that they pivot after the fact. They can only build things based on what they know at the time of 6 to 8 months before the release. Release dates of the movies change. You know what I mean? Yeah, we could have had Yelena, but we didn't vote for it. We could have had Red Garden, but we didn't vote for him. I mean, Taskmaster and Ghost were picked by the community, not because of the movie or how the movie played out, but for other reasons, gameplay reasons, frankly. And what levels people had it upgraded, how they interacted with various game modes. I mean, that the decision was based off of the mechanics of the characters rather than the movie itself, because we didn't watch the movie. Nobody had watched the movie. Yeah, and Sentry, they saved Sentry for the Battle World boss. I just think that the other Thunderbolts choices are kind of weird. And being that they have like really no connection to anything. Yeah, I don't know. That was definitely. I can understand why it happened, but the result is the same. As I think it was a big fail. Like, that is such a weird team. I have a song about it. Although I got the grammar or the gender wrong on Taskmaster.
Yeah. Rework the squad that's ready to fight. Hey, just hang, there's no one. Huh, bruh, huh. Thunderbolts drop, but they ain't the squad. Ghost and Tasky, Victoria, odd. Yeah, we voted, but the time was rough. If you saw the movie, we'd have called their bluff. Yelena Red GUS got the lore. They're the core, we can't ignore. Don't need a redo, just make it right. Rework the squad that's ready to fight. Saw the trailer, thought, yo, this might slap. Tasky and Ghost in a war zone trap. Red Guardian flexing, Yelena with style. Winter Soldier looking cold and vile, but in-game drop, nah, it ain't that. Victoria Hand, who greenlit that? Songbird flying Hyperion 2. This ain't Thunderbolts, this is Beta Crew. Thunderbolts drop, but they ain't the squad. Ghost and Tasky, Victoria, odd. Yeah, we voted, but the time was rough. If we saw the movie, we'd have called their bluff. Yelena Red GUS got the lore. They're the core, we can't ignore. Don't need a redo, just make it right. Rework the squad that's ready to fight. We pick these names.
I mean, even I think what threw me off the most was that the Marvel Strike Force trailer, which I included in this, doesn't even have US Agent in it. So like, you could tell they were just kind of working with what they had. I mean, I just don't think Marvel gives anybody advanced information, no matter who they are. Marvel Strike Force has leaks right now, today. Yeah, I don't think they would give any information to Scopely / Boundless that would, it's just too much risk, right?
Rework the squad that's ready to fight.
I just don't see them. I don't see them. Okay, they have the next 2 years mapped out. What, they're going to put Thunderbolts in 2 years from now? Or maybe they try to shoehorn it in and then they scramble right now to put Thunderbolts in 8 months from now. It just doesn't make sense. I feel like it's came and went. If there's going to be another Thunderbolts movie, or if there's maybe it'll line up around whatever the new Avengers or whatever the next movie is going to be called, right? I mean, and then they could call it the new Avengers MCU. Because they're not going to even call it the Thunderbolts in the MCU. It's going to be the new Avengers versus Captain America. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Hold on! Spoiler alert! Get the fuck out if you didn't see the movie. They're setting up this Captain America Sam Wilson versus Yelena, right? And it's going to be the Avengers versus the Captain, the Captain Sam Wilson New Avengers versus the new Avengers with Yelena. And it's, I mean, probably setting itself up for like a Civil War type situation. And so maybe they will come out with the MCU New Avengers or something like that with like a MCU Yelena or whatever. I feel like that's where it's going. Yeah, and they're not going to rework these characters. They're going to create brand new characters. Yeah, it's going to be probably going to get New Avengers Yelena. New Avengers Yelena or some shit like that. I mean, Taskmaster got killed off, like 15 minutes into the movie. Maybe quicker. The new Avengers, yeah. Definitely not Sentry for Battle. They said they're going to do Sentry for Battle World. The next Battle World boss is going to be Sentry, right? I actually said that. No, it won't be Thunderbolts MCU for no, none of that's happening. No. Yeah, I feel like all the teams they're building are based on the MCU's timeline and trailers, and they're kind of on their own. They've got a basket, Marvel corporate probably has a basket of characters that they can choose from. They most certainly can request their own, and they can go and something that they negotiate. I also think that Marvel corporate has certain characters that they would prefer Marvel Strike Force to use, and is going to plead with them to put certain characters in the game now based off of what's going to happen in the MCU down the road. Like, I'm just going to throw out an example, and I don't have any information on this. Maybe let's say Blue Marvel. Maybe Marvel corporate has some big plans for Blue Marvel 3 years from now, and they're going to put Blue Marvel on a list of characters that Marvel Strike Force can use, or they could say, we would prefer if you did something with Blue Marvel. That's probably the level of conversations that they have with no other context whatsoever. Hello, yeah, we're talking about this. We're going to have to wait for the blog post tomorrow to have like the best answer possible. I'm going to make a video about it. Let's go through Reddit real quick. Elena's so boring in the movie? I didn't think she was boring in the movie. I liked her in the movie. In the game? Sure. I actually think she's great. This is a constant problem. So the only thing, okay, so I'll read the post and then I have some thoughts on this. And actually, I feel like they have a somewhat elegant solution to this with the current release that they didn't start using until recently, because they're aware of this problem. Older Scourge requirements need to be removed entirely. Prepping my Thunderbolts for Quasar Scourge, and I noticed I had 0 training mats left. That's a problem in and of itself. Then I realized that Old Man Logan was coming back and wanted to 7-star him. Okay, yeah, we get the problem. Been upgrading Cabal in out of time. So I actually think what they did with the Professor X saga was somewhat of an elegant solution to this. What they want to do is to force people into using specific teams like they did at the time when Old Man Logan was, coming out. The hotness was Cabal and out of time, and they just made it mandatory. So But then that creates a problem today where I don't want to upgrade Cabal and Outer Time. And that problem is going to get worse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. These teams are going to become more and more unimportant and irrelevant. So what they did with the Professor X saga is actually kind of clever and very elegant in my opinion. They still incentivize us to use very specific teams that were current to the game, you know, Thunderbolts, Liberty, so on and so on. And even though those teams worked best, the requirements itself didn't say their names. But those characters were boosted or incentivized or required to get through the game modes. But 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, you're not going to use Thunderbolts. You're going to use whatever's out at the time that is in fact better than Thunderbolts. So I feel like they've kind of evolved into a better planning with this. And this is still under the old system. And I agree with this post. I actually use this post for some feedback. Yeah. But you understand what I'm saying, Pathfinder. I actually think what they did with the Professor X saga is somewhat elegant. It pretty much forced us or incentivized us heavily to use very specific team comps, and they're not going to have to fuck with it 1 year, 2 years, down the road, many years from now, because it's still like generic traits and whatever is popular at the time, 6 years from now, they don't have to change it. They could just leave it alone. I think it's actually pretty smart. They're changing the name of Intel. So right now, the chapter currency, let's just call it chapter currency. The name of this chapter's currency is Intel. Next chapter's currency is going to be called, I don't know, Fucktel. The currency is rotating every 90 days into something different. But the store and the way that it feels and looks will remain the similar, but it's going to basically eliminate hoarding altogether. You're not going to be able to stockpile it. You're going to have to dump whatever you have right now over the next couple of weeks because it's going to convert to shop credits, let's say, and then the new currency is going to start being paid out and the shop will switch over to whatever that new currency is. And it's essentially going to be the same thing, but it's just going to have probably different art and a different name. Yeah. Okay. So it will not convert into the new currency at all. Absolutely. That's the whole point of them subverting that. They don't want you hoarding this shit. It's an anti-hoard mechanic. And the idea is that right now is the time to start moving this stuff because it's going away in 18 days. And I'm going to say that the number of players that actually would benefit from that currency converting into shop credits is close to a number very close to zero. Not a lot of them. So yeah, you're going to want to spin this down. And the whole purpose of this system is to prevent hoarding altogether. So spend it. Yeah, because Intel will be converted to the legacy currency, shop currency. You're not going to want that. Pathel? Yeah, I don't know what they're going to call it. I'm going to put that in the video because I think that merits re-mentioning over and over again. Because I think, oh my God, can you imagine 18 days from now the Intel converts to shop credits? How many pissed people are going to be out there? It's like, oh, I didn't know. I feel like they've done a good job about telling the community how it works. But Play the game a lot. Oh God. Back to away some milestone questions. I don't remember. I think I have to go back and look what I did in the video. I know I had put some thought into this question back when I made the video about it, but I don't remember now. Oh, I believe that's already done and in happening. No, from what I could see, I believe that. I can promise you that's going to happen. I think Lori does all that anyways. Let's look at the video I put up on the Fantastic Four and see what I did with game on the gameplay video. Yeah, I had him as Raider. Does anybody have any other thoughts about Raider? Yeah, I used Raider on him. I think that's right. The general feeling is that there's going to be a large number of players coring for Franklin on Monday once the event starts. So we're going to make a video about that. Okay. Big Data Mine suggests there's a coring event on Monday. And so there's a lot of talk about delaying the coring of Franklin today. I got to make a video about this. Is what we're trying to do is I'm trying to get enough stuff to make a video. You know, I'm working on it. I don't know if I can make it to 8 minutes. Franklin's ISO attack. I think the problem I was having with Franklin is that he went early in the match. Isn't the speed on Franklin the highest? And it was like, yeah, Striker would be good, but he's so what I remember is that Franklin, and I could be wrong, Franklin, it did make sense to have Striker on Franklin, but when you're using the 3-piece, he's going first. Now, inside of War, that was not the case, because if you did a team with Thing, then you could run like Skirmisher on Thing, and then you could come in with Franklin for the ISO attack and the Striker. That's what I remember. And then I just couldn't figure it out, and so I just ended up running Raider. Let me find the ISO real quick. No, it had to do with the speed, though, because I remember this debate in my head. Well, part of the question is Major Pain, is even the data mine correct? And so my suggestion is to wait until the blog post, which should be coming, you know, around this time tomorrow. At least I'm guessing I'll have a copy of it to share with you this time tomorrow. Well, 20 minutes from now tomorrow. Well, but I remember him going first in the match, in arena anyways. I wonder if I can. I wonder how I can remember anything at all for this matter.
All right, this is a pretty fun team. I like this team. And secondly, they are placed by another battlefield effect, and also once that battlefield is out.
Yeah, Franklin goes first in arena. I don't know. You have Odin, right? I don't know. You're probably going to take your... I mean, it could be Odin Null, Odin Mephisto. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure, I mean, it's going to be a 3-piece, probably. Yeah, but I think most people, I feel like there's going to be multiple correct answers for Franklin's ISO. And it's probably going to toggle between Striker and Raider. I think this setup that's showing up here on the screen where I'm running Arena 3-piece or whatever, it's going to be Raider, but probably going to be Striker everywhere else. Yeah, it's gonna be Striker. Yeah. Let's find the actual. See if I still have the PDF file. You have it? I have something important to show you guys. This is important. Hold on, let me find the. Let me find the PDF. Yeah, here it is, right here. Oh, come on. That's not the right one. Face reminds of Hakuto girl? Yeah. Alright, I have no problem suggesting Raider in Arena and probably Striker elsewhere. I know this, that Thing gets massive amounts of speed in War. So if you end up using speed with the 3-piece, you know, Thing is going to be going before Franklin. But otherwise, I think Franklin is first. I don't have the ISO attack. I actually don't know where it is. Yeah, and if you do skirmisher on Human Torch, then maybe you could take advantage of the striker skirmisher combo. Sure. All right, let me fix it for you, because I know you guys are so concerned. Oh, well, that's not much better. What a fucking ugly guy. Holy shit. All right, there we go. We'll leave it at that. We men can be ugly as we want because our women are always going to be better looking people anyways, just as long as they can't lift more than us or open to the pickle jars without us. Always a reason to keep us around. You want to hear something weird? Hyper attractive and hyper obsessed women about their physical beauty have zero interest in having an attractive husband. They don't need to compete with you. They don't want to compete with you. It's all about them. You probably have better chances of getting a very attractive woman with a big bank account and a big dick than good looks, would be my guess. Yeah, I'm just saying. Hey, what do you think of this face? Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for... Now, so you got to keep in mind that... Well, never mind. I don't want to get into that. I know you're right. Look at Vern Troy or Rip, but if you see you look at his wife, you question everything you thought of ever do. Because no little person he was not good looking at a mall. Yeah. I think personality and being familiar, and I think there's a lot to be said about that, and you know, whether you can make them feel comfortable and secure. If you have a little bit of humor, I think it's going to be more personality based, and I do think that. How do I put this in a nice way? Because I know you guys are bank account. Being successful or wealthy or insanely wealthy is attractive. It just is. Right? For some women. Not all women, but I'm just in general terms. There's a million exceptions, I'm sure, right? Yeah. Being successful is a personal trait in itself. Yeah. Yeah. And we're not talking about absolutes. We're talking about general observations on, you know, a percentage of the population, and there's 9 million exceptions and blah, blah, blah. I get that. Looks like I'm ripping a fart. Oh my god. Not clipped one the other day. Holy shit. I totally leaned into it. I was like, oh, ah, and he clipped it. I was like, fuck me. It was a scorcher too. What if you aren't attractive or wealthy? Ask your friend. I think there's I have a philosophy on that stuff. I don't know. I feel like in my past lifetime where I was hyper obsessed with bodybuilding and body dysmorphia and physical appearance and all of that, my experience was that it attracted a certain type of woman, and I didn't particularly enjoy that, and my values changed over time. And all I know is I'm very, very happy today. I really like my wife. I don't know what to tell you. I really do. Want me to tell you all about it? What do we got here? Yeah, I mean, oh, here. All right. All right. This is going right to Kat. Kat, I'm sending you some stuff. I'm gonna say yelling in this house doesn't work as well as it did in the apartment. I think with women it's more about, can I take you places? Can I will you embarrass me in front of my friends when I say, hey, this is my new boyfriend? I think that's what it is with women more than anything else. Like, if I eventually introduce this person to my mom and dad, are they gonna be like, what the fuck? You know, that's I think that's the criteria, frankly. All right, let's make this video. Oh, really? I think that is super handsome plus wealthy. Well, yeah. That's like the winning combo. That's like, anyways. All right, we got to talk about some data mines because today is the Franklin Day. We're going to talk a lot about Franklin, but inside of the data mines suggests that there's going to be a event which looks very important on Monday, which is going to have Quasar Awakened building materials, diamonds on Quasar, fantastic diamond credits exclusive to leaderboards. Good luck. But it's about one power core. So we're going to talk about what to do if you're free to play and thinking about coring Franklin today. I think there's some suggestions, but I want to read what the data mine says first, and then we'll dig a little bit deeper. Commander, get ready for the Quantum Surge. Make progress in this event by playing War Battle, earning fantastic diamond orb fragment, spending power core, and using Quasar in war. Earn fantastic rewards, including quantum orb fragments, dark diamond credit, which is also going to be important. We'll talk about why that's going to be important, because Mephisto is going to be going to the Elite Store for purchase with dark diamond credits. Diamond orb fragment, Quasar awakened ability material. Keep up the leaderboards for a chance to earn Quasar 3 diamond, huge because Quasar is very good, and fantastic diamond credits exclusive leaderboard. Good luck, Commander. Points. Play one war battle. Earn one fantastic diamond orb fragment. Spend one power core. War with Quasar in offense or defense. War with Quasar, blah, 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 quantum orb. So, I mean, obviously, if you're planning on coring, taking advantage of this event is going to be a better way of min-maxing. This is most likely a certainty. I was planning on coring Franklin today. And so my plan right now is to wait until the blog post comes out tomorrow. And I should be making a video tomorrow about the blog post as soon as I can. And then I'll be able to make a better decision on whether it makes sense to start coring Franklin now or wait until this event starts. If in fact the information is, thorough and accurate right here. Now, in general, these data mines have been accurate. There hasn't been a lot of deviation and variance from this, but this is not official communication. Now, there are some disadvantages to waiting. A couple of them. One would be arena and arena standings, and we're going to talk about how important Franklin is in the arena, and then also I think he's going to be important in Crucible, and we're going into the weekend Crucible. So I think those are two things to consider, is that there's arena standings and then there is also the Crucible. Now, people that are going to, buy Franklin, well, this doesn't matter. They can buy Franklin maybe today, with whatever, unlock a 3 stars. And then if they were going to core the remainder, wait until that happens. And when this event happens, I feel like that's a no-brainer. For me, I want to see exactly what the blog post says. And I don't see a lot of risk in that arena placement or Crucible until getting the information tomorrow. Now, Franklin is a very important character. A lot of people have been asking about what to do on ISO. This is the ISO attack right here, which does make him a strong candidate for a striker. Flip the 3 negative effects into positive effects on self. Attack primary target for damage and 17% piercing. Flip 3 positive effects into negative effect. That's an excellent character for striker. So there's 2 different things though, and the answer is going to be probably both striker and raider. One of the cases for striker is that this works amazing. In war, Thing will go first if you're going to be running the full 5-man, and then you can get a skirmisher out there, or you can run Human Torch as skirmisher, and then you could get that striker skirmisher combo by running a Franklin. The thing though is that I think a lot of people are going to be running the 3-piece in arena, and Franklin's going to be going first. And so in my testing in this video here, which we're going to talk about this video right here, this is a video from 3 weeks ago. I did my testing with him as Raider. And the reason why I used Raider on him is that when I was running the 3-piece, which is not right here, this battle, but this battle before, he was the first to act. So this is the beginning of the match. Franklin's the first, and typically you're not going to get a lot of value. Boy, look at this face again. This is where the face is coming from. They're making fun of me. I can't win today with these faces. Raider. So probably the answer is going to be Raider inside of Arena and Striker inside of other game modes, whether if you're running the full team. Now, the other thing I wanted to state is that Franklin by far is the most important member of the Fantastic Four MCU, and I wanted to talk specifically of his importance. Wow, look at that. Of his importance inside of Arena. I will just put it this way. If your opponent has Professor X and Franklin, you're not going to win. It's just not going to work. And if you're in a situation where they have Franklin but not Professor X, and you don't have Franklin or Professor X, you're not going to win. Now, this was an interesting thing, which I think leans towards the idea of how important Franklin is. I was battling up a 3-piece. So basically, the team that I'm going to be fighting in this battle right here has Shadow King, Professor X, Franklin, and then instead of Quasar, it was Invisible Woman, and instead of Black Cat, it was Mr. Fantastic. And this is just going to the idea of how important Franklin is on the team. He's the most important character on the team, and I'm able to win just because of Franklin's passive. I stun out of the gate with Black Cat, and then I run over the team. So if you're gonna core any member on the team, he is the Black Knight of this team. He is the Kahori of this team. And so just keep that in mind. My suggestion is to wait until at least the blog post for tomorrow if you're going to be coring him. And then a consideration will be made on whether or not to wait until this event starts, which is my understanding will be on Monday. Now, this is also something to think about, is that there's going to be some additions of diamonds added to the store. And then there's also a heist running right now in game. Scroll Heist is back in Diamonds for Ares, Captain Britain, and Mephisto. Scroll Heist is back again, and this time there's some changes I want to let you know about. We will not be giving out Skull Diamonds for the heist. Instead, we'll be giving out 1 diamond for Captain Britain, Ares, and more. We also want to know that this Friday we're adding Ares, Captain Britain, Mephisto to the Elite Store for diamond upgrades. Here are the costs for Captain Britain and Mephisto. And yes, it looks like the total cost to take Mephisto is 27,000, which is a lot, And that also makes this particular event even more important because they mention Dark Diamonds being one of the rewards there. And I think the Super Scroll cost to take to 3 diamond was like 11,200. Now, this Super Scroll heist, you just have to blitz with Super Scroll, but you have to do it manually. You can't sim in, and you'll get all of these rewards. Tons of good rewards, including a 1 diamond Captain Britain and a 1 diamond Ares. And then one of my alliance mates, Big Spartan, made the suggestion: Mephisto, Ares, and Captain Britain going to Elite Store at Reset Friday, which is tomorrow, the time recording this video. So make sure you complete your Skull Harvest before then to get your 1 diamond on Captain Britain and Ares. That way, when your store resets, if it does show up, it'll be at the higher diamond level. So there's not really a reason to delay doing this. All you do is 1 single battle in Blitz with Super Scroll, but it cannot be on Sim. You have to do it manually. Also, just wanted to point something out that's of high importance, and I think I'm going to talk about this a lot, is that right now we are in the first chapter of Annihilus, and each chapter will have a new currency, and the currency for this chapter is Intel. The next chapter, it'll be called something else. And at the end of this 18 days, the Intel currency will be converted to shop credits, where I'm going to say this, on most accounts, maybe if not all accounts, do not want that to happen. I mean, it's a very small number of accounts where shop currency is going to have more value than Intel. But for probably at least more than 90% of the people watching this video, please understand, Intel is going away in 18 days, and it will be converted into shop credits. So this is the time to plan in purchasing. One of the things that I have added to my daily purchase, in addition to gear tier 20s, is going to be Invisible Woman shards. I've been buying them. And if I got close to the end of this, I may also consider buying some diamonds on Vigilante. And then what's going to happen at the 18-day mark is that a new currency will come that will act in a lot of ways like Intel, but it'll be called something else. And we don't know what that's going to be called, but it's going to be whatchamacallit, chapter currency 2, if you will. And that's where we're going to be getting similar items in the store, and that particular currency will be awarded in a similar way. This is just basically an anti-hoarding mechanic. Lastly, older Scourge requirements needed to be removed entirely. And this is a post about Old Man Logan and the necessity to upgrade Cabal and Out of Time. Now, I know why they did this is because back at the time when Old Man Logan was the hotness, they were incentivizing and pretty much forcing people to use Cabal and Out of Time and purchase them, if you will, to get Old Man Logan. But then that becomes obsolete over time. Cabal and Out of Time still have a lot of uses today, but what does that look like a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now? So this is kind of the old system, and it's going to require them changing it, because that's going to feel bad. And it's not going to be a good experience going forward as the importance of Cabal and Out of Time goes down, right? But if we look at the way they structured the most recent Professor X saga, they effectively incentivize us to do vigilantes and to do liberty, whatever the hotness is at this time, because the way that they boosted the teams in the nodes. But as time goes on, we're going to move away from those teams. We're already starting to see that in the last series of nodes, where the people that ran through the last node with, you have to use the Lalandra, Odin is the next logical choice. And then the other three, a lot of people were picking out, Starjammers. Well, eventually Starjammers are going to not be that great. And now people are going to be using Fantastic Four as a substitution. So I believe that was a somewhat elegant solution, what they did with the Professor X saga, in that, a year from now, 2 years from now, 4 years from now, you're not going to be required to use obsolete teams. There's going to be a newer team that will get through it, and the resources will not be wasted, and we won't be in that type of situation is right now with this person and the Old Man Logan saga. So stay tuned. When I have a clear idea of what I'm going to do, I'll share that with you sometime tomorrow. Bye for now. Blastel is the name for sure. I see that makes the most sense to me also. Hmm. All right. I want to start I'm publishing this right now. I want to start collecting some ideas for a video. I need to get into the assets folder and pull out some of the art for ISOs. Hey, I just did a dab. Someone asked me to do a dab the other day. I was like, okay. All right, 2015. I like or is it like some sort of parade where Squidward? Oh, what is going on here? Oh no, that's not what I want. Hello from YouTube. What's up, Josh? We are live not only on YouTube but also on Twitch. We're streaming on both. There's drops going on Twitch, but I believe that the ad/viewing experience is better on YouTube. I have found a lot of people have complained about ads on Twitch. I think the chatting experience is a little better on Twitch, though. The viewing experience is probably better on YouTube. Baby kitten sneezing, thank you. All right, let me see if I can get into the asset folder. Oh, yeah, here it is. Oh. Oh, it's called Assassin instead of Striker in the game. Gambler? I did not know that. Skirmisher's called Gambler. Restoration is Heal? Huh. Huh, I didn't know that the game files were called Assassin for Striker, Fortify, Gambler, Restoration, Skirmisher. Actually, Gambler's the Raider. Huh, I did not know that. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, 5 years. I think there's probably an easier way than doing it this way. Remember back in the day whenever we were trying to do something with ISO, we would just go to the Wakanda team because you used a different ISO with each member of the Wakanda, like the OG Wakanda team. What was it like? It was like Black Panther was Striker, Okoye was Raider, Shuri was Healer, Nakia was, M'Baku was Fortifier. I don't fucking know, but I know that it was like there was one of each on it. I thought there might be. This is an old folder right here. This looks like this is a folder from. Lorena started doing this. Yeah, that particular part of it was five-years old. I think there's an easier way of doing this in game, actually. I don't remember what it was. This was before the Black Panther Shuri. It was the original Shuri. It was a Koye assist, right? Yeah. Koye. Yeah, I don't remember. It was from 500 years ago. But I just remember there was a different one on each one. I wonder if it's still like set up that way. Well, that doesn't work either. Yeah, Wakanda had. I just remember that Wakanda had all different ISO. I just don't remember. It was at least 5 years ago. All right, actually, I need a description of vulnerable. Adds what, 10% more damage too, right? I mean, that's something that is almost never considered. Like, I feel like everybody just like striker. You realize that when you get rid of that vulnerable, that character that had vulnerable was taking 10% more damage. Right? I feel like that's never a consideration for like maybe Raider is better. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's find that. Because I think that should be in the video. Oh yeah, yeah. See, I don't know shit, but I just like okay. Anyways. Yeah, all right. I see this is a video that's going to be useful for probably a lot of players. I know that not everybody agrees with me, but I think Striker sometimes is overrated. I mean, it's specifically like, yeah, if there's some sort of cool fancy ISO attack, but I just feel like it's, I don't know. Where is the situation? All right. Yeah, because it's not. Where are you looking, Steven? Oh, this is on there. I'm looking for where their description of this stuff. Oh, there you go. All right, we're in the same place. Is that purple 3? Primary hit. All right, let's set it up with you, Professor X. We never use fortifier, huh? Oh, let's, yeah, Black Knight. Let's do that. Yeah. I'm a gladiator, right? The trials to get rid of the vulnerables because they had the striker thing that would delete you because it's based off of their health, right? Remember getting deleted, and so you had to use the fortifier to clear the vulnerables. Who's a quintessential skirmisher character that always assists and is always skirmisher? Nebula? Is there? I mean, I always thought that we would start pivoting Old Man Logan to skirmisher over time, right? But we never did. Yeah, we never used. I mean, yeah, I kind of want to make it about current characters. I think that'll be an easier conversation than. All right, what's a quintessential healer that's current right now? Scientist Supreme? I feel like we do that on Scientist Supreme because this attack, it doesn't attack, right? Yeah, because there's no attacks on these, right? So if someone wants to find the ISO attack, has anybody compiled that in a spreadsheet anywhere? Like anywhere? Based off of what was published in blog posts. Yeah, I'm familiar that it's not on MSF.gg. And that was deliberate because that was all done by hand, and now they no longer do anything by hand. Everything, if they can't pull the data directly from the game, it doesn't go on the MSF.gg. And in the past, when they were doing that, that was all their interpretation of what the code says. All right, I gotta blow my nose. I'll be right back. Yeah, this information is just not anywhere. No, this is not the first time this conversation's ever had. This is kind of an old conversation, actually. Yeah. You know, Blaster will be just like Lalandra and Quasar. So my understanding, one of the, and this won't make any sense, but if you want some context as to why, and I'm not saying that I agree with this answer, or one of the things that I heard, and I don't know if it's still current, is that they started publishing what the ISO's attack assist attack does inside of the new release characters. Like, they go to the work to interpret the in-game code and put it in this format, right? Well, they didn't do that on the, I don't know when they started doing this, but they didn't do that on all the characters from before. And my guess is that, you know, this idea of and having a button like right here that said ISO assist attack, you click on it and it shows what it is. Then they would have to go back and do it on all these characters that they never published that or even know what it is. Which is not a very good reason, actually. Because it's just code. Someone has to interpret the code and convert it into a sentence that makes sense. And they're going to have to do that for every character, you know, for a couple hundred characters, let's say. Yeah, because I asked them specifically this question, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago. At least 2 years ago, Toxie and Ty they said that the website, they no longer manually do anything on the website. Everything has to be everything is pulled from in-game data, and that information is just code. It's not in a text format, and so they don't pull it. And any of the references that was prior to them being bought out by Marvel Strike Force was their interpretation of the code, which the official interpretation of the code is a more recent thing that they've been publishing only in the blog posts. Is this worth putting in the video? Because holy shit, this is like not a very good answer for an in-game player. Like, obviously it's dog shit, right? They removed the old characters, yeah. This is like half the video. And I kind of want this to be dumbed down. So how dumbed down do I want this video to be? Or do I want to make it about the ISO problem? I think I'm just going to say, hey, this is going to be a video for new players and for veteran players. I'm going to save the striker conversation for the end of the video because it's going to be of high interest to established players that understand ISOs. But we're going to talk about the context of the ISO attack and where that information is and why that information's not in game and why it's nowhere. But the rest of the video is going to be just kind of a more generic, well, you use healer here, and healer is good on this type of character for this type of reason. And we use fortifier here for this type of character for this type of reason. We use raider here for this type of reason. And then some explanation to the way that the skirmisher striker combo works. And then some explanation to the vulnerable, right? What it actually means. Go negative. There's very few. So the characters that get healer traditionally are characters that don't have attacks. So like this right here, This does not attack the other side. So, like, if you would put skirmisher on... If you put skirmisher on Scientist Supreme, that wouldn't trigger. On this one, it would. Right? This one would. But for this one, it wouldn't. Yeah, and they added a bunch of stuff. Is War Ready still a thing? Did they get rid of War Ready and what War Ready means? It changes from season to season, right? Yeah, but what War Ready does, doesn't it change from season to season? Like the definition of War Ready? I can't remember. I mean, I thought maybe I'm pulling this out of my ass. I know, but I got stuck on the War Ready part because that's going to come up in the video. I'm sorry. I'll get back to that. Yeah, I will revisit that. So, where does it define War Ready? It's green for. So it varies. That's what I thought. I thought the War Ready bonuses change from season to season, and they changed it up a lot. Is it because the war is over, the bonuses don't show up? Because I feel like you hit this and it would show the bonuses. Yeah, everything is dead. All right. See if it's on the website. I remember being 20% too, but I also remember them changing it, and I believe there was also some changes that they went one way and they went back, and then there was seasonal ones, and this season does this, and War Ready means this now. Yeah, shells for the win, right? Hello, guys. Welcome in. What's up, Zero Cool? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go see it tonight myself. I might get an opportunity to go speak at a rehab tonight, which I do that a lot actually. But if not, I'll go see Fantastic Four. $2 hours. I think we have tickets to go see it next Tuesday, but I told Kat that I'm going to be miserable not seeing it, and it's going to get spoiled 1000%. See, I'm in a position where I don't get to complain if it gets spoiled because of my exposure on the internet. In some fantasy world, I can pretend that I can get annoyed when it gets spoiled, but the reality is I need to go see the movie at the first opportunity I can, if that's important to me. No, I know. We're not going to actively promote or incentivize people to do spoilers. It's just I have the only way that I can only control what I can, and the way for me to manage that is to go to the movie at the earliest convenience rather than being a victim and complaining about it. Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, I do appreciate. We're pretty diligent about not spoiling things. I think we've kind of agreed on collectively like 2 weeks, right? So like two weeks from today, we'll probably start talking about it. I feel like that's reasonable. And I understand there's going to be a percentage of people that won't be able to see it in the first 2 weeks, but I think most people that care about spoilers will go out of their way to see it within the first 2 weeks, like a large percentage, anyways. All right. I don't know how to find the. I'm stuck on this war bonus. Yeah, they changed it. Yeah. It's based off the season. Yeah. It's okay. I was right. It's seasonal. I knew it had something to do with the seasons. They're all wiped because I think it's because it's over. All the bonuses are gone because the war is over. It says room galactic confrontation bonuses. See war bonus pop up for more info. Well, they're all dead. So I got to go find the blog post that spells out the bonuses. Oh, our defense. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Thank you. I'm Sofa King today. Yeah, they're not mentioning War Ready anymore. Yeah, that used to be a thing, but they think they got rid of it. They get rid of it from, it's a seasonal thing. They got rid of it, of them even mentioning War Ready in these bonuses anymore. Oh, thanks for the layout. Fuck. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that too. So, all right. So it's fair for me to say that War Ready is not really used anymore. When it was used, it was mentioned in the global seasonal rules, which change. And like right now, there, and then I could show, for example, it's effectively not being used anymore. It used to say in this room, primary stats to a decking, and then it would say like war ready Quasar allies. But they just stopped putting it because green 4, it's an obsolete tag. It's an obsolete tag. That's it. That's all I need to say. I think they got rid of that. I actually think they got rid of that. I'm looking. Yeah, I for some reason I think they just straight up got rid of that. In this current season anyways, I don't think war ready means anything on the global bonuses. See, like right here, it used to say, I'm going to switch screens. It used to say, you know, they used to offer up they just got rid of it. It's not currently being used. Didn't they change it though? They changed. Remember when they fucked with it and they meant that the boost bonuses did less shit, and it went from a major deflect to a minor deflect, and then they fucked with the war ready stuff all at that same time. Wasn't there just like a fundamental pivot on that? Maybe like 2 years ago? All right. Well, in the video, I'm just going to say war ready. It applies to, if you take your character above green 4, which everybody is doing at the current stage of the game, you're going to have war ready. It's somewhat of a obsolete mechanic. If that changes, right now it's not important. You're going to take it to green 4. Yeah, it's unclear to me whether it was removed or not. But it's not currently stated in the global rules. It's always been green 4. All right, we got derailed with that conversation. Yeah, but I think they just got rid of the war ready bonuses altogether, and they just have global rules that change from time to time. Sometimes in the global rules they'll put war ready, but it looks like they've stopped using that language for global bonuses. Now they just give out global bonuses, defending characters, blah blah blah, and I think they just got rid of war ready mention altogether. All right. They have the war ready tag, but what the war ready does in war, they pretty much stop using the war ready tag in the global rules. And I don't know when that happened, but the current global rules does not mention war ready anywhere, and they used to. It used to mention war ready defensive characters get XYZ, and it was a global rule, but it looks like they've stopped using it.
Initiating pleasure protocol. Loading Twitch Sims module. Installing poll firmware complete. Welcome home, Daddy Dub.
Does it still do that? I thought it stopped doing that. I'm fairly certain they got rid of that altogether. Yeah, I think they just outdated it. All right. All right. I exactly know how to word it in the video though. Yeah, we're gonna go over there's war season rules, and sometimes the war season rules it mentions war ready, but in the past it gave like on defense 20% extra stats. But I think that changes from war season to war season. But where to look for war ready is going to be in the blog that states what the bonuses are. Like this is typically where it would be. It's largely obsolete though. I agree with that. Yeah, and some of them, and I could put that in the video too. Some of that might change. Well, the future of War Ready is not clear to me because I believe they're going to be going into War 0.20. But just know that War Ready is a thing. But at this point in time in the game, most characters are part of Green 4. And unless they change the meaning of War Ready to mean like Purple 4, it doesn't really mean anything at all. It just doesn't mean anything unless they and it feels like the overpowered mechanic kind of replaced that concept. Like instead of having it specific to war, the bonuses are going to be based off of overpowered. So I'm just going to say it's somewhat of an hey, there you go, Sassy. I actually, but here's the thing. I think you should make that case to them if you have access. I don't have a problem with that. Nor should I. But I don't think that's the direction they're going. I believe, no, that is the direction they're going. Holy shit, that might fix some of their problems. Holy fuck, I didn't even think about that. That actually might solve what they're trying to do with war. Yeah, Purple 4 plus overpowered, get fucked. Huh. Well, one way or another, it'll be my fault when they do that. Oh, it'll be my fault that happened, right? Once they do that. You stop giving them ideas, Boomer. And based on my conversation with him when I was back at Scopely HQ, that ideas that I just put out there is kind of in alignment with what they're trying to do with war. I wonder if anybody else mentioned it to him. No, they're trying to slow war down and make full clears unlikely, if not impossible. So the idea would be just to get as far as you can, but I mean, that was one of they floated a lot of ideas out there, right? And so there were 10 different opinions. I'm just going to give you one of the 10 ideas and opinions that they were stating. So you fucking can't quote me on this shit, because they were talking about a lot of things and it's my interpretation of what the conversation was about anyways. But one of the concepts that they were talking about from one of the individuals of many concepts was that they wanted to make war almost unfinishable. Like, you can't full clear. And so you're going to have, the alliance leader is going to have to make strategic decisions on what rooms to go after so that you could get further than you normally would. And the rooms, like, for example, one of the ideas that they threw out there that was a possibility is, as you kill off rooms or players, the remaining amount of stuff on the board gets stronger. In fact, so strong that making a full clear nearly impossible. This is an actual idea that they talked about. I don't know if that'll work or if it'd be good, but it was an idea. They had like 900 different ideas, and I don't know what they're doing. And I don't think they even know. But it was just it's just a general idea. No, and they also were very opposed to the dropped attacks. Like, there was also an idea of getting a limited number of attacks, which only 10 of them would account, or only 14 of them would account, which I didn't like. There was a lot of ideas out there, but they wanted, I believe their intent was, is they wanted to get rid of the idea if you drop an attack, like it would actually matter. It just wouldn't matter. You're not going to clear anyways. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. I just know that they have some issues with the way that it is now. Mostly this is the problem, is the way they see it. War is complicated, and war captains are frustrated and very invested, highly, like, the most active, the most sweaty of all players in Marvel Strike Force are war captains. War captains spend more time on the game than anybody else. And they spend the most time planning and understanding strategy and coordinating with their alliances. And these players are quitting, and they saw that as a problem. When they see their most engaged players quit the game, it sent up all kinds of red flags, and they're like, war's busted, something's wrong, we got to fix this. That is the problem as they see it, and they were trying to come up for solutions to remedy that problem. Burnout of war captains specifically was the problem as they saw it. Yeah, I don't know. I that's the other thing too, is it, and I think they wanted to give the boosting to have more impact, and I also feel like that they wanted the room bonuses to have more impact, and the placement of the rooms to have more impact. Okay. All right. I'm gonna record this video. It's gonna get edited anyways, so we're gonna kind of stumble through it. All right, we're going to talk about ISOs in Marvel Strike Force and what they do and how they work. And this is going to have a lot of general information, but also if you're a veteran player, I think you're going to find a lot of this helpful, because there's a lot of things that are not well understood when it comes to ISOs. And so we're going to go over that. Now, first things first, what is vulnerable? Because that is the main mechanic that ISOs interact with. ISOs will apply the vulnerable, and Striker will even take it away, and it'll do various different things based on there being vulnerables on the board. And of course, there are some character kits that do manipulations with ISOs and with vulnerables. Oh, let's start this video over. All right, we're going to talk about ISOs and vulnerables, and this is going to be a deep dive into the way they work, and there's going to be a lot of information that I think a lot of players don't understand. In general, once you decide what you want to do with ISOs, you have 5 choices, but how do we make those choices? How do they interact with other characters, and so on and so on? The main mechanic that is involved with ISOs is going to be the ISO 8 vulnerable, which actually has a specific mechanic to it. This character is vulnerable. Increase incoming damage by 10%. Now, a lot of people are favorable to the Striker mechanic. Keep in mind, Striker gets rid of vulnerable. And if there's no vulnerable on the character because you removed it with Striker, they're not going to be getting this extra damage increase. This is why I'm a big fan of Raider. Also, there's a couple different ways, like if you don't fully want to understand all of this stuff that's going to be included in this video, there is a place on the website where you can type on the name of the character. Like we're just going to do Invisible Woman, and you can see the new Invisible Woman. You can see what the rest of the community is picking. 92% of the community is picking Raider. 4.6% of the community is picking Striker. You can see some of this information in game in the Jarvis tab. So like if you click here on Odin and you click on the ISO, a little J will show up. In fact, it's right there. You click on J and it'll give you some information. It'll say 88% of the players use this ISO class. Players with Odin at gear tier 12 or higher. And a lot of characters have multiple correct ISO choices. And we're gonna go over the most controversial one of all, which is going to be Striker, and why the ISO assist attack information isn't in game, and why the Striker ISO class has proved to be the most frustrating of all. Okay, we're going to talk about Raider, and before we talk about Raider, what kind of character do we usually like to put with Raider? This is going to be a character that does damage, an attacker, and that a character that hits multiple targets. The Raider also gives advantages to crit chance and crit damage. So if kits mention some sort of advantages with crit chance or crit damage, typically they will fall under the Raider character. Now, also worth mentioning is that Raider doesn't have any downsides, meaning it doesn't strip away vulnerables. It can apply vulnerables on crit. And so as a safe bet, a lot of characters go to default on Raider. And I'm going to say Raider is probably my favorite one because it's kind of foolproof, if you will. What does Raider actually do? Now, before we talk about what Raider does, I just want to mention that there is green, blue, and purple. Currently, the maximum in the game is purple 3. So it's not shown here, but you could do green 5, and then it starts over at blue, and then you get blue 5, and there's different bonuses and different things that happen along the way. And then the max level currently is purple 3. By year end, we'll have purple 4 and 5, and there will be additional mechanics. So what we're going to be talking about today is what does purple 3 do? And frankly, we're going to get into it a little bit. They actually drastically changed the way that healer and fortify works. And there's pretty much, I believe those two are underused. It feels like most people are kind of sticking to the staple 3, Raider, Skirmisher, and Striker. What does vulnerable purple 3 Raider do? On active ability crit, apply 1 vulnerable up to a maximum of 5. So this is why hitting multiple targets is of advantage, because Raider can go in AoE. If that attack crits, it will have a chance, it'll have the opportunity of applying vulnerable to all of the characters that crit. So when it crits, apply vulnerable, gain war ready. So war ready is largely an obsolete mechanic. If you go in game, it actually tells you a little bit about war ready. It definitely is still a tag, but I think right now it's currently not being used, and it's with green 4. and green 4 is so easy to get that it's not mentioned much anymore. And then it says there's room bonuses. If we look right here, we have seasonal bonuses. None of them currently mention what War Ready does. It used to be back in the day, it would say like War Ready defending allies get 20% stats. And I believe that this varies from war season to war season. And the current war season has 0 mention of War Ready. But keep in mind, this is a tag. And if they change what War Ready means, like for example, it means green 4, but if they change it to mean like purple 4, they change the war season rules to have special bonuses based upon having War Ready. Back in the day, it was like 20% stat boost. I'm not sure that that is just automatically baked in or if it's directly tied to War Ready. So it's obsolete, but I just want to mention it because it's right there on the screen as War Ready. It's largely obsolete. On active ability hit, 50% chance to bonus attack the target for 90% piercing and apply additional vulnerables up to a maximum of 5. And then here are the bonuses. Notice crit chance, crit damage, max health, armor, focus, and resistance. These are all of the bonuses. They add up slowly over time as you go up in levels on purple 3 on the Raider. So in general, characters that do damage to multiple targets, or usually characters that go early in the match so that the vulnerable are applied so that other characters can interact with the vulnerable mechanic. So we're going to go to the next one here, which says, no particular order, is Striker. Now, Striker is going to be probably the most complicated one to explain because there's something called an ISO attack, and then there's also a special interaction where you pair a striker with an assister that has skirmisher, and that is known as the striker skirmisher combo, which is actually pretty cool, and that works with assisting skirmishers. Let's just read what Striker does, and this is going to be on damage dealers that have special bonus attacks or characters that just do a lot of like single target damage, if you will. On primary hit, or high health characters also that do damage. On primary hit, if the target is vulnerable, make an ISO bonus attack at 100% damage, then clear away a vulnerable. This attack is based off the character's basic. That's actually not really true. It's based off of their ISO bonus attack or the assist attack. And we're going to get into why this is so annoying, because this information is found nowhere in game. It's not found in any organized way on their website. And it's generally just disclosed one time in the blog post. And this is probably one of the most atrocious thing in the game as far as I'm concerned. And we have complained about knowing what this information, because the basic attack is not the ISO bonus attack. They work differently. Gain War Ready, and then we're going to scroll down. On primary hit, if the target has 2 or more vulnerables, deal 20% of this character's max health to the primary target and heal for 50% of the damage dealt. So high health characters that do damage also get a lot of benefit from this, but it is stripping away the vulnerables, potentially taking them all away. And then when the next character goes in and attack, they're not going to be getting this added benefit of just the vulnerable being there, which is 10% increase to incoming damage. All right, let's keep reading what the Striker does. Again, this is going to be mostly damage dealers that go after the vulnerables app. So the character that goes first typically will not be a Striker, because the vulnerable needs to be applied by somebody else, like either through a skirmisher or a raider character, right? So what else do we got? All the extra bonuses: damage, max health, armor, focus, resistance. Now, pretty big damage number. And if we go back and look at the Raider was affecting the crit chance and crit damage. Okay, so let's talk about what we're talking about, what this extra attack is and why you would want to use it. And we're going to just go and take a look at the newest character that is coming to the game in some short time, and that is going to be Blastar. Not in the game yet, but it's going to be the next legendary. When they put a blog post out, they will spell out what the basic attack does. And then sometimes the basic attack does a lot of cool things. And what we're wanting to know is that second attack. So the basic attack hits, and then if it's vulnerable, it'll hit a second time. What does that second attack do? And it is not the same as the basic attack. You can see here that it has less damage, and we can read all of the benefits. Now, the reason why this is important is sometimes when the character goes, they do their ultimate, and as long as they're hitting into a vulnerable on the primary target, then there is a secondary ISO attack. And whether or not we choose to use Striker depends on this. Where do you find this information? In game. Nowhere. It's not in game. Why? We don't know. Have we asked for it? Yes. And the irony of all this is that the website, marvelstrikeforce.gg, used to compile this information, which required the keepers of that website, which before it was bought out by Marvel Strike Force, they would go into the game code and type it up and present it to the community in an organized way, just like it reads right here. And when Marvel Strike Force bought the website and hired the two people that built the website, which is TyJ and Toxie, who I've had tons of interactions with. In fact, I was in their alliance for a long time. I met them in person multiple times. He said, how come you guys don't publish this information? In fact, they pulled the information off the website. He says, well, the way the website works today is that all of the data is coming from directly from the game. And if they can't pull the data from the game, they don't put it on the website. Well, the data is not in the game. So this is very controversial. And when the community chooses to do the Striker, it's because we've done some research based off of what the kit did and the publishing of this information, which only happens on the initial blog. Horrible, right? And I think this is the reason why people get frustrated with ISOs, because it becomes super abstract, difficult to make correct decisions. And this is where this becomes useful. If the community, somebody's and other people have done the research on whether or not Striker or Raider makes sense. And there is some opportunity for that. Now, there is an exception where Striker almost always makes sense. And that is in the situation of what we call the Striker Skirmisher combo. And this is not going to make any sense at all. But there are characters in the game that always assist. And we're going to take a look at one of them. And I'm just going to explain the way this works. And this is Old Man Logan. If we go look at Old Man Logan, and for kicks, I have made him a skirmisher for the purpose of this video because it makes a lot of sense. But it says right here in his kit that he has a 100% chance to assist. Gain 100% assist chance. So the way this works is that if a striker, a character attacks into even a character that doesn't have vulnerable, what will happen is the striker attacker character attacks. The skirmisher, which is Old Man Logan, will apply a vulnerable, and we'll read what the skirmisher does. And then their initial striker character will see that there's a vulnerable and attack again with the ISO attack. And it's known as the triple tap, the striker skirmisher combo. So there have been teams in the past that do this specifically, like Infinity Watch, because Nebula always assisted. The team was made up of 4 strikers and 1 assister. And so this has also created a situation where, like, a Human Torch, I believe people are going to be moving him more likely to like a skirmisher position, still striker for now. Also, Old Man Logan is that type of character. So when he interacts with a striker, it'll do that triple tap combo, which just keep that in mind. Now, let's just read what skirmisher does. Skirmisher is going to go on characters that have assist mechanics, and then the other situation is that skirmisher boosts focus. So if you have a character that is not landing the negative effects or whatever you want your character to do because it's being resisted, the primary way to get extra focus is going to be with skirmisher. And this will also apply vulnerable to one target, where Raider could apply to all of the characters that it hits that crit. So a raider could go out. It's a little bit more random because you're not going to crit on every single one on most characters. Some kits on characters do allow for crit always, but it's not what we're talking about here. But vulnerable will be applied to a single target. The main reason why people are using Skirmisher is to get that extra focus, or they're trying to take advantage of the Striker Skirmisher combo by putting Skirmisher on a character with an assist. On primary hit, apply 2 vulnerable to the primary target. On primary hit, if the target is vulnerable, flip 2 positive effects to blade. Gain 50% focus for this attack. These effects can also occur on assist and counterattacks. Then it has the war ready, and then gain 25% damage on assist. Again, this is an ISO that works well on characters that assist. Gain damage, max health, armor, focus, and resistance. So mostly what this is about is getting that 110% focus and so on. Getting the extra focus to land the negative effects. So far in this video, we've gone over the 3 most popular ISOs. Now we're going to go into the 2 less used, perhaps underused ISOs. And at Purple 3, they have some new and interesting mechanics. Now this is the healer ISO. Obviously, it's going to go on healers because that's the way it works. Let's read what that does. And it doesn't really interact directly with the vulnerable mechanic, like applying vulnerables or doing anything with them. But Purple 3 healer actually has a way of manipulating the vulnerables on your team, which you don't want. On turn, apply regeneration to the most injured ally. That's a good thing. Heal that ally for 5% of this character's max health. Gain war ready. On primary hit, apply regeneration to your most injured ally and heal that ally for 10% of the character's max health. Clear 1 bleed or minor bleed from your most injured ally. This effect prioritizes bleed. When this character uses their ultimate ability, this is a big deal. Clear 2 vulnerables on self and all allies. This is why Scientist Supreme typically has the Purple 3 healer, because she goes early in the match. There are certain kits and characters that apply vulnerables to other side, let's say on spawn or something like that, and she will ultimate right away and clear all those vulnerables off of the entire team. This is a good thing, and it has a lot of bonuses specifically tied to healing. 45% active healing, 20% damage, more health, armor, focus, and resistance as well. So this is going to be extremely useful for healers and or situations perhaps in PvE content where you need to get rid of the vulnerables. We recently had a PvE game mode. I can't remember which one it was specifically. It was some sort of temporal dimension where you really did not want vulnerables because of the way that the other characters worked with the striker. They would delete your characters. And so you had to get rid of the vulnerables with some sort of mechanic like this, where you remove it from your team. Now, Fortifier also has a new mechanic that does something similar to itself. The character that has Fortifier and getting rid of vulnerables, but Fortifier is going to add barriers. So characters that work well with barrier or pre-taunting tanks are typically going to have the Fortifier ISO. And largely it's pre-taunting tanks like Black Knight. Some people put Fortifier on Gladiator, or there's just certain situations where you want barrier on the character to make them a little bit more resistant to getting deleted, right? Like if you're running a weak character into a battle, sometimes you'll put Fortifier. What does it do? On spawn, barrier yourself for 45,000 plus 10% of this character's max health. It's also worth noting that most characters by default have a barrier cap of 30%. Like unless their kit otherwise states, the barrier on one's character cannot go above 30% of their max health. On turn, barrier yourself for 10% of this character's max health, gain war ready, and this is the part that I like a lot. On turn, gain minor defense up for 2 turns, clear all vulnerables. If this character has barrier, gain drain, so when they do damage, they're going to be getting health back, which could be underneath the barrier mount, right? Gain 10% max barrier, gain 20% damage, max health, armor, focus, and resistance. So this is largely going to be on protectors. You know, the characters that are taunting or pre-taunting. It's going to be your tanks, if you will. And that's where we use the fortifier. So, a quick rundown of why and what they do. Raider, it's going to do damage. It's going to deal with crits and crit damage, usually used on characters that go early in the match, usually used on characters that hit multiple targets or do AoE. Striker characters are used to do extra damage. They prefer to hit into vulnerable, and they will do an additional ISO attack, which often has very cool mechanics. Also, this is useful in what we call the striker skirmisher combo. Healers are going to, the heal ISO is going to be good on healers. Whoa, I wonder why. Thanks for telling me this great, amazing information. The healer ISO works well on healers. That's actually true. But also, the ultimate will get rid of vulnerables. So quick characters or situations where you need to get rid of vulnerable, because oftentimes character kits have really ugly mechanics when vulnerables are put out there. So this is a way of removing vulnerables and adding extra healing to the team through various means. Skirmisher is going to be characters that you want to land the negative effects or what kind of effects you're trying to land on your opponent by getting extra focus. Also, characters that assist typically will have skirmisher, or characters that go very early in the match that are not hitting multiple targets typically will be a skirmisher as well. And then lastly, fortifiers are going to be characters that have special mechanics around the barrier mechanic. This is also going to be pre-taunting takes. And then the fortifier also has a way of removing vulnerable on the character itself and providing drain. So that was the long of it. If I forgot anything, put it in the comment section and that'll help me make my next ISO video better. Bye for now. All right. Oh, you're a funny guy. We'll see if this video does well. Ultimate ISO guide. I don't think I missed anything. We don't fucking know, babe. I have no idea. I just thought you would like that. Steven made the meme. Yes, I'm aware. Hulk Hogan passed away. They go in threes. Healers are going to the heal ice. What happened? Did I lose my internet? Oh, it's going to be good on healers. Whoa! Healers are going to the heal ISO is going to be good on healers. Whoa! I wonder why. Thanks for telling me this great, amazing information. The healer ISO works well on healers. That's actually true. It is actually true. All right. What the fuck are you guys watching? More Emily
Is this you? Is this you, T-Dats? Are you a more extra Emily fan, and that's why this is coming up here? Are you trying to get me to click on these girls? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to fall for your trap, T-Dats. All right, I'm going to call it for today. I'm not going to get involved with Franklin. I know that is an hour and a half, but I got to do some Raid Shadow Legends stuff, so I'm going to do that now. I feel like I got a lot done, which is I made a Franklin video, made an ISO video, and I'm going to go hang out with my lovely wife. I hope that y'all get out and touch grass. If not grass, touch a movie theater and go see Fantastic Four. Especially if you are one like myself who does not like movies being spoiled. I'm going to make a good faith attempt at trying to go see that tonight unless another obligation comes my way. But yeah, I'm going to go try to see Fantastic Four, and I hope you get to see it too. My understanding from the people that have popped in here that saw it yesterday in limited release areas said it was amazing. I'm going to look at the Rotten Tomatoes. I don't give a fuck. If you don't want to see the Rotten Tomatoes, close your eyes. Fantastic Four. Oop, 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 oop. Looking good. Yeah, everybody that's popped in today. So I kind of take the tomato meter with a grain of salt, and if it's a movie genre that I enjoy, I think the number for me would be higher. If it's a musical or some shit, if it's not in the 80s or 90s, if it gets a 70% musical, I'm gonna fucking hate it. If it's like some sort of rom-com and it's like 70%, my rating for that's gonna be like 50%. But if it's an action movie, explosions, superheroes, titties, that type of stuff, and it's like 70%, it's probably a 90% for me. So this is a big W as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, 88%. I'm gonna go see it. Wait until tomorrow, Another Enemy. That's my suggestion. The actual official blog might provide clarity is what I'm hoping for. So I am waiting for tomorrow before. Yeah. Who's streaming? Valley Flying. How long has Valley Flying been streaming? 18 minutes. All right, we're gonna go to Valley Flying.
Let's do this again. Oh, actually, I'll do this again. But
will you tell Valley Flying that I love him? Oh, I get it.
Zero's leader.
Yeah, audience score matters.
So he has 2. How does he have 2? How does he get 2? Why do I only have 1? Boomer has 1. I guess Boomer has 2, right? He has Nobu and then he has Boomer. What do I have? I want to be Old Man Logan. I want to be Old Man Logan and Braun.
All right, tell him that I love him. I love you, Valley Flying. Smoochies, boochies.